These cozy bowls are so perfect for fall and they check every box. At this time of year, I just want meals that feel cozy but not heavy. I want them to be balanced, easy, and somehow all of these taste like comfort in a bowl. You've got to see these.
Let's make some autumn grain bowls. These are so delicious. You're gonna wanna try these for sure this season because it has everything that you could want in it. If I haven't said this here before, I am a huge fan of bowls. I love places like Kava where you can go and you can select all the different things that you want to just make almost a different flavor every single time. This is one of those dinners that you can make different components at different times of the day and then just assemble everything when you're ready for dinner. So you don't have to just stand in the kitchen for 30, 45 minutes, however long it takes to make this. I personally am gonna start first by making up our dressing. So this is a maple balsamic dressing. Okay, stay with me here. I've got some fresh rosemary off of the garden. And then I have some fresh thyme. I wanna chop up this rosemary and make it really fine, okay? So I'm gonna go through it several times. Overall, you probably want just about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. Let's take that and go right in here. It's a good amount of rosemary. And now I'm going to take this thyme and just add it straight in. I have been deep into planning for this holiday season, all the recipes that I'm gonna be making here on Feeding the Birds, all the things that I'm excited to share with you guys. So lots of stuff coming up. You don't wanna miss it. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification too, because a lot of times with the YouTube algorithm, you might see one video and really like it, and then you don't see another one for a while. But if you have notifications turned on, you'll be sure to be notified every single time that I upload a new video. So I've got the rosemary and thyme here into my dressing container. I'm gonna add some olive oil, about a half cup. We might not go quite as much as that, just because I don't know that we're gonna need all of it. Maybe a little less, that's probably good. Okay, we need some balsamic vinegar. Use whatever your favorite balsamic is. About a 1/4 cup of this one. Maple syrup, pure maple syrup. You need the real stuff for this. Only about a 1.5 tablespoons of maple syrup. Add some cinnamon, just about a 1/2 teaspoon. This is really adding to those fall flavors. Let's add a clove of garlic. So that's a decent amount of garlic in there. And I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. And you guys, I mean, the flavors of this, I know how easy it is to just buy your dressings, but homemaking your dressings is a game changer. It will change a meal completely. Let's go ahead and prep the rest of the stuff that's going in this bowl. I've got 2 sweet potatoes here, and I'm gonna cut them into bite-sized pieces. Now, you can use rotisserie chicken with this style of bowl. We're not going to be. I'm actually gonna be making some chicken thighs that are gonna go on this sheet pan with the sweet potatoes. So I can cook it all at the same time. It actually takes about the same time, so that'll work out perfectly. Let's add a little bit of oil. I'm using olive oil today. Just a touch here. It's probably a 1/2 teaspoon. I don't need very much. I do want to add a touch of salt, some cumin. Cumin is delicious here. Don't miss out on that. Right around a teaspoon. Let's add some chili powder, about 2 teaspoons, so a decent amount here. Good flavor on these sweet potatoes. That's really important. I also really like to add some garlic powder and some onion powder. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon to about a 1/2 teaspoon. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, we're good. No big deal. Oh man, these smell so good already. It's that cumin. It's just this, it's so potent, that smell. I love it though. I'm gonna add a touch more olive oil. Okay, now we're gonna put these on the baking sheet. I'm still waiting on my oven to heat up, so it'll be a little bit for that. But let's prep everything here. Okay. I've got my 4 chicken thighs here on the baking sheet, and I'm gonna add the same flavors to the thighs that I did to the sweet potatoes. So, okay, this This onion powder just comes out really fast, so, oh well. I'm gonna leave the lids off because I am gonna flip them and season the other side. Garlic powder barely comes out. What in the world? Add the chili powder and cumin. Now, let me wash my hands and then we can move on with this recipe. I don't know how everybody in my family is gonna feel about this ingredient, but I'm gonna cut up some apple, and that way, if we want, that can be added to it as well. Another option, other things that you can add are, I'm actually gonna dice the apple pretty small too, just side note. You can add kale. That's another, you know, that's a great fall flavor. Spinach is fine as well. I just don't know how they're gonna feel about the apple in the bowls. We'll see. I know my husband and I will eat it, but my kids love apples. I just don't know how they're gonna feel about it with the other stuff. So actually, I might just cut slices and put it on the side of the bowl for the kiddos. The last thing we need for this recipe is some walnuts or pecans. We have pecans, so that's what I'm gonna use. I am gonna chop them up a little bit. So I'm just gonna do about a handful. We'll leave them over here to the side, just here on the cutting board, so that when we assemble the bowls, they're ready to go. Obviously, you can buy them already chopped up, but we usually just have these in the pantry because they're available for snacking if needed or recipes. Over near the stove, I've got some wild grain rice that we're gonna cook in the rice maker, and then also some quinoa. Quinoa is really easy to make. It's just 1 part quinoa, 2 parts water, and then add some salt to that. We're gonna bring it to a boil and then turn it down and just let it simmer until all the water is evaporated. This needs kale. I went ahead and took all the stems off and broke it into pieces. Take a little bit of that dressing and pour it over the kale, and then prepare to get messy. Okay, you can even add a little bit more olive oil, just a touch. So what happens is the oils, when you massage the kale, break it down. And it's almost as if you sauteed it. It breaks apart kind of the overall crunchiness of it, and it makes it really soft. It doesn't take much, but the easiest way to do it is with your hands. So everything is really prepped. We're just waiting on the sweet potatoes to finish cooking, the chicken to finish cooking, and the quinoa. Here's how I'm gonna serve my bowl. So we're taking some of the rice. If you know that everybody will want quinoa in your house, I would go ahead and combine the quinoa and the rice together just to make it easier on yourself. Let's put some quinoa in here. Okay, I'm gonna add in some of this kale and then toss that together, and that's my base of the bowl. All right, so next you just start to put the ingredients on that you know that you're gonna like. So I would like apples on mine. I'm definitely gonna put some of the nuts on mine. Some of these just for garnish, like so. Adding some of the sweet potato, which adds a really beautiful color. And then obviously we gotta have the chicken. And I think because I covered up the nuts, I'm gonna add a few more. Just a little. And then, okay, add some cheese. If you want, you can keep it cheese-free. And then take that dressing that we made.
That's a nice looking dinner.
And you have the autumn grain bowl.
Wow.
All right, I'm gonna try everything together, or at least as much as possible. Did you put everything on yours?
I did. Yep.
You got kale on yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
My word.
You just need to make it. You need to come up with the capacity to make
Every
this.
flavor in there is so good.
Does this not taste like fall, straight fall in a bowl though? Like if you're ready for fall, you need to make this, because that to me, it's just fall.
and I may have already said it before, but that's my absolute favorite time here in North Carolina and in our house. The colors are just beautiful, and the birds and all the activity. I don't know where you're from, if you have some beautiful autumn colors.
Oh, leave us a comment below. Tell us where you're from.
Yeah.
Y'all, this is really good.
It's so good. All the elements together. That is so good.
That dressing is delicious.
And you can't, I mean, you could, but the cheese makes the difference too, because what would you say? You have the acidity and the sweetness from the apple, but that savoriness, I guess, from the cheese.
It's savory, but it's also, we use the Kerrygold cheddar, and it's a pretty rich cheese.
Yeah.
So I think because everything else in that is more fresh flavors, you get this like aged cheese flavor with it too. All the flavors here, you guys. It's delicious. Very, very good.
This is delicious.
I knew it was going to be good just looking at it and just thinking in my, like, conceptualizing all the different ingredients together, but it's actually way better than I thought it was.
It tastes as good as it looks.
Absolutely. Yes. You definitely need to make this one. We are going to make these chicken fajita tortilla type bowls. I've got about a pound of chicken thighs in here. I did cut off a little bit of the fat, and we're just going to add a little bit of salt. And I do want to add a touch of oil. This is avocado oil. Now, I think a lot of times people think they need significantly more liquid than you actually need in the crock pot. So I'm just gonna add just a few tablespoons because it will make its own liquid. Okay, so basically what's happening is you're putting the lid onto the crock pot. So anything that would normally evaporate is staying in there. And so all the liquid is kind of staying in. So let's add some paprika. I like to add a good amount of paprika, okay, like at least a tablespoon. Really good amount. You can do this on the stovetop too, but we are busy on outside projects right now, so I just want to have everything ready to go. I've got some chili powder. Again, I'm doing about a teaspoon. I'm gonna add some cumin, about a teaspoon of cumin. And some garlic. So we'll add maybe like a clove and a half or so. Now, I personally do like to add some oregano in here too. Just love the flavor of oregano. We're gonna cook this on low. I'm probably gonna cook it for about 4 to 5 hours or so, but I'll check it at around 3.5 just to make sure that it's, not getting overdone or anything. So we're already actually on low, and we should be just set. Now we can just set this to the side and move on with our day. I'm coming inside just to throw some peppers and onions into the crock pot with the chicken that's already been in there. This has been on low for about 4 hours or so. I like to cut our peppers and onions into pretty large strips. That way, if you want peppers and onions, you can easily add them in, but if you don't want them, they're really easy to pick out. So completely up to you. But I think about 30 minutes to an hour gives the perfect consistency and texture to these in the crock pot. We actually like ours to stay a little bit crunchier, so we lean more toward the 30-minute mark than the hour. So it all just depends on how soft you want those peppers and onions to get. Okay, so like I said, this has been cooking for about 4 hours on low. I'm gonna throw all those peppers and onions in here. I do like to break apart the onions a little bit just so they don't stay in big, huge chunks with the layers all stuck together. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't break apart or shred the chicken before I dropped these in there, and that's because the second that you mix the chicken together with the peppers and onions, it is going to fall apart and shred so easily. So I do like to do that just to make sure those peppers and onions get mixed in with all that amazing seasoning that we threw onto the chicken. And that's really all that I do. Now the lid can go on and it can just stay there for about 30 minutes to an hour, just depending on how long it's gonna be until you're ready to eat. I do turn it on high just so that it will really cook those up. Our favorite way to serve this is in burrito bowl form. So we usually serve it over rice. I cook my rice in bone broth and a little bit of salt, just giving it some extra protein. And you can really serve this however you want to. There are so many different ways, like cauliflower rice. You could just have it plain. You could serve it in tortillas. However you like it and whatever flavors you enjoy, that's the best way to serve it. And then this is so awesome because use whatever toppings you love. So if you like salsa, if you like avocado
avocado, sour cream, guacamole, whatever your favorite toppings are. Make a taco bar out of it, almost like a fajita bar. And we love this. It's such a quick go-to dinner. I know I can throw it in the crock pot in the morning and we have a good hearty meal at night.
So I love to add Greek yogurt or sour cream, maybe a little bit of cheese, kind of depending on my mood, some avocado. We love some feta cheese, Kalamata olives. You can add whatever you want depending on your favorite flavor. So add these, have kind of like a bar set up where you can add all your favorite toppings. They're so delicious. I'm gonna make these harissa bowls. Okay, so a lunch item that we're gonna be eating, absolutely can be a dinner, but we like to have stuff ready for bowls for lunches because they're just so easy to make. Let me go ahead and get the rice soaking. Personally, I like to soak my rice. We usually soak ours for several hours before we start cooking it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that process. Especially if you're using brown rice. It's not the reason we do it, but if you find that brown rice just doesn't get done enough for you, if you soak it first, you might like the consistency a little bit more after it's cooked. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make 3 full cups. Let's just add water to this. And I just cover the rice. And we can set this back there to the side. And then a little later, we'll make the rice. I need to strain off or rinse this rice. So let's just rinse that.
All right, so let's add lemon juice to our rice. About 1.5 tablespoons turmeric, maybe a teaspoon, and some salt. And now this one, that was a little more salt than I intended, but it's okay because we're using bone broth, not chicken broth. So I'm making everything for these bowls now, but we're not going to be eating them right away. I will insert video of what it looks like, you know, when they're all put together. But I just want to show you the process of making them. You definitely could make them and eat them right away too. All right, let's put this over in the rice maker and I can go ahead and get this started. All right, for the chicken, I'm going to marinate for a minute. Let's make up the dressing in this. So there's the dressing and the marinade are the same. So let's make that. For this dressing / marinade, I'm using this harissa seasoning. You can also use a harissa paste if you want. Harissa is hot, but we like spice. So that's why we're totally comfortable with it. Okay, less heat. Use less harissa if you want less heat. Let's do like a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Let's do 2 teaspoons. What's happening here? This doesn't like me very much right now. I can't today. I mean, I am just, wow. Wow. Okay. That's maybe 2 teaspoons. Let me clean this up. If you're going to use harissa paste and not the dried version here, the spice that I'm using, then you're going to use like a 1/4 cup of the paste. Maybe I might do even a little less, maybe 3 to 4 tablespoons. Now, because of the fact that this is a marinade and a dressing, we're making a good amount here. So don't let that alarm you. I'm going to do about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of honey. So it's a good bit of honey here. Okay, same thing with the lime juice, 1/4 to 1/2 cup. Just depends on how much dressing you want to make. We're just going to match the two. Okay, add a pinch of salt, about 1 teaspoon. And I'm adding avocado oil. Again, maybe 1/2 cup or so-ish. I might add more harissa if I taste it and I feel like I want a little bit more heat. You gotta mix for a bit here on this one because you have that honey in there. So it takes a minute. I'm gonna cut my chicken into strips. So you can just buy chicken strips if you want, but it's just, this is convenient. You know, I bought it just like this. And we'll cut it into strips. I like to also trim the fat off because I think it's gross. And then we're gonna go straight into this container right here. Primarily, my husband and I will probably eat this lunch. This one, I feel like I'm gonna make it a little spicier. The kids,
have been eating buffalo chicken wraps a lot for lunches. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to check out this video right here. It's a super quick lunch, high in protein. We love it. It comes together really fast and it's delicious. I mean, can't say enough good things about that lunch. Salt the chicken a little bit here. And then take some of that marinade and pour over the top. Just giving that good flavor. I do want to save some though, because remember, this is our dressing as well. So about half is going to go in as the marinade. And I think I'm actually going to add some parsley. I have tons of it on the garden. The recipe doesn't call for this, but I have so much right now, I may as well. I want to make sure that I use it so it doesn't go bad. So we'll just clip that in there and add it. For this, I'm going to add a touch more oil, just a touch. That was maybe a teaspoon. Put the lid on, and then you can just shake around that marinade, and then just set it to the side and let it marinate for a bit until you're ready to cook it. For this recipe, there's several things that you put in the bowl. Obviously, you can choose whatever you want to choose. Tzatziki, hummus, pickled onions, cucumbers. You could put tomatoes in there. You can make a nice little salad to go on the bottom. It does not have to be rice. I've actually already made tzatziki. You can see that in this video right here. I've made tzatziki several times before, and we're going to use, I actually made it last night. So you can get the recipe there for that. Definitely highly suggest making that because A, it's great protein. You can buy pickled onions. You can buy hummus. I'm actually going to make both of them here. They're very, very easy to make, so don't let that alarm you. And I'm just gonna do 1 onion. So I'm gonna start with 1 cup of white vinegar. And you can do this on the stovetop, but I'm gonna do it in the microwave. Did I say microwave? Microwave. Okay, add about a cup of water. Add about a teaspoon of salt. And about 4 tablespoons of sugar. This is your brine. So I'm just gonna start to heat this and let the sugar and salt dissolve. While that's heating, we will cut up the onion. All right, I'm just gonna use this a different knife. Not my favorite one, but you know. Take off this outer layer here. I'm gonna cut into slices and then just go into this little bowl that I have.
Okay, so everything is dissolved, as you can see. We just need to set this to the side and just let it cool a little bit. You don't want it to be super hot when you pour it over the onions. So let me just put that right here for a second. We can put this away. Okay, I'm also gonna cut up some avocado to go with this while that's just cooling off. I know a lot of people get nervous about recipes like this because so much of it is homemade and it requires effort and energy. And yes, it is much easier to walk into the grocery store and just grab a thing of pickled onions and not do this. But I think once this happens regularly, you just get used to it and it becomes like second nature. And you start making these things and you're like, oh, it's really not that hard. Also, I would say don't let it stop you from making these things if you don't want to do the completely homemade version, because some of these recipes are just so good. You don't want to miss them. Just buy the stuff that you need at the grocery store, even if it means it's not completely homemade. Okay, now I cut my avocado like so. But I leave one of the pits in the container that I'm storing the avocado in, and it helps the avocado not to brown quite as quickly. But at least then it's already ready to go. So it'll be ready for our lunches, and it's just an assembly process at that point. We don't have to worry about going through and prepping all of this stuff. All right, so avocados are done. Looky there. Avocados, we've got the onions. Let's make some hummus. Now again, you can buy hummus. I have bought hummus plenty of times in the past, but we always have cans of chickpeas ready to go. So it's very easy to make. Also, I traditionally try and make my hummus a little less fattening than the store-bought hummus. So I add less oil and I add bone broth to mine so that it's just a little less fattening. All right, so for this, I'm actually just gonna use a blender cup. I like to drain the chickpeas. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil or avocado oil, maybe a tablespoon. I pop in 2 garlic cloves. Let's add about a teaspoon of lemon juice, which is gonna clear us out. Okay, about a teaspoon of cumin. That's just a preference thing. And then some salt. You can make whatever recipe you like with this. There's so many add-ins. Oh, we gotta add bone broth, hello. All right, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of my homemade bone broth from earlier here, even though we haven't strained off the fat all the way. Just a bit, a couple tablespoons. Now we can blend this together and we'll have hummus. It's so simple. It's perfectly smooth, which is what we like. So now we have hummus, we've got avocado, we've got our onions, which this feels cool enough to pour in there now. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so you wanna fill it so that it covers them. And these, depending on how thick you slice them, they could be ready in an hour. They could be ready in overnight. But basically they're just gonna turn like that beautiful pink pickled color. So now that we have all of those components ready to go, I'm just gonna make the chicken, then let it cool, and we'll store that away, and then they'll be ready for the bowls, for lunches. My oven is currently preheating to 375 degrees. Let's give that chicken one last mix here. Once it's heated, the chicken should take about 20 to 25 minutes. Now you can shred yours. You could cook it and shred it. I'm gonna actually leave it in strips. You could have cut it into nuggets too. I mean, whatever your preference is. Y'all know, just make it what you want it to be. All right, let's let this go for 25 minutes and then that'll be ready as well. I just finished eating the Harissa honey chicken bowls. First comment is, I don't know if there's a difference in Harissas, like maybe there are mild, medium, hot, things like that, but this was not spicy at all. I'm gonna add actually more Harissa to that dressing. So when we go to Kava, which is one of our favorite places to go to get bowls, well, our kids actually don't like Kava, I'm not gonna lie, but my husband and I love Kava. If you get Harissa, it will burn your mouth for the next 3 days. It's spicy. So I was kind of expecting this to be a little more similar. It was not spicy at all. So if you're concerned about spice, don't be on this one. So I'm gonna add a little bit more Harissa and just see if it makes a difference. I completely forgot. I'm almost done with the bowl and realized that I didn't put any hummus on it. But it was delicious, so, so good. The chicken was tasty, the rice was tasty. I mean, all of it together was so great. And I love having stuff like that because you can pull everything out. Everybody can decide what they want on their bowl or what they don't want and move along.
Our verse today comes from 1 Corinthians 15:58. Therefore, my beloved brothers, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. I hope you enjoyed today's video. These bowls have been such cozy weeknight favorites for us. And if you want more meals like this, check out the video that I have linked above because it is a perfect next watch. As always, thank you so much for being here. And if you're new, I'd love if you'd subscribe and stick around. And I hope you have a great week.